Hey there, mateys, this is Scary Scouts, a Pirates of the Caribbean film series here. Today is the last day of November. It's 30th, Wednesday, 2016. We're gonna have to say, how's everything going there to doing well? See, my brother's coming. Be right back. So today is in the Dead Man's Chest to be continued. Day after that from yesterday for Touch the Destiny. This is where the Teodomus lived there from the jungles. They live in the wood house, So the next thing will be about the searching for the Flying Dutchman. They know why they live under the ocean. They don't know half about the scuttle ship that attacked by the Kraken. They must have even look like it about for 60 crews. They have 60 men that have been killing, fleeing away from a named island. The same thing have no idea. When the Will Turner was rowing the boats where the scuttle ship is, they're looking for help. They're looking for something for help. They have some definitely the Turner about shut the lights off, kill the lights. They're walking towards from the mutiny. They have the destructive by the Kraken. Whether it does, when the same thing it was something matters about too deeply. If it terribly for things that ever that for that happens, and it's about the totally interaction. All you gotta do is about my reactions. They have a much really terrifying the sea monster. They have the real such things, and that guy just pulling through the net, and he says they're running to the ground, but he honestly replies saying no, beneath us, foul breath, and he opens that mouth with the crack. He opens the mouth that the beast in mouth is, and he gets blowing with the swallows, tries to eat them all. All of them. Tries to get hunger when it gets sunk within the depths. They make the noise that is, and it looks like it about extended scores and the Dutchman arrival. They have a very much important some of the each of you with the guys and some with all of that it sometimes either or I, and this is much harder than the very Disney villains Jerry Bruckheimer films on these movies. They have it much as called the Dutchman Pirates name of the villains as transformed, and when he rolls with his body, where he covers that no mouth in there and no nose, he freaks out a little bit. He splashes up to the water, and when it's seeing the much in the new ships, they found it it's in the name as Davy Jones' ships. They're arriving for the boarding, sailing to stopping for the capturing on the Scuttle ship's crew for the rest of the whole life. They started to fight for the sea. Looks like about for ambushings on the destructive ships, and the putting the oil and fire on it tries to back off of them. He slices it with the belly with the fish under the belly, where he bangs with his head, but he literally just bang out of there just to hit him for no reasons. The rest of the capture it, and the same much look to the left down. When they're making the noise of the footsteps, and he was communitarily he was to say fireman still alive. Arrested and move on. That's what the Mac is. That's what the Mac is transformative from Hammerhead Sharks looks at the humanity, and he has a one arm with the crab with a crab snapper, and when the face of a tentacles enters the octopus, with his head, he had no idea what he has the no nose it is. And but he says he would reply, did he fear death? And did he feel like the dog abyss? He's speaking to the intentions as it looks anything about evil and the mainless and the main recurring villainous on the seas. He was going after them. He was escape. He tried not to listen to him with his friends, and but he tried to choke him. Did he notice that did he fear death? And he said unforgiven. He said he unforgive us, and it's not he don't knows about no idea. He's telling us about kill you to the depths. He slices his neck with the blood is. He throws under the water, and he tries to cruel blackguard. But he says life was cruel. He's trying to matter from each other. They haven't noticed it interesting. He haven't very very important this. But he wanted to give up for the rest of the whole life. Therefore, two of the men decided to see sometimes, some of those that are capturing under those the brigs. Those are about the 5 crews under the brigs, tries to stay on it, and tries to strand it. He joins the crew, but he will be served. He said, nah. He's very frustrating. He looks like the former mention of Will Turner, and it's not then the dying, but he was the purpose here, and here was confirmation that the Jack Sparrow sent us to his death, and Will said this 2 times. He saw this about that they came from, The spyglasses look at him with his zoom. He looked to the right there. He put it right to the black ship, and it's shocky. It looks like about spyglass just arrived to the pearl. The sea turtles and the Dutchman pirates just arrival for the mutinies for the Jack Sparrow ships. He's been a captain about 2 years before, but he wasn't interesting about all that news about the black sails about the 13 years. He's been captain of the Black Pearl, but he says by Davy Jones with his new captain for the 13 years. But he was a cruelty, reality, criminal, and reminders. But he says as Captain Jack Sparrow. I felt bad about felt surprise, and he wasn't unwelcome to the meeting, but he serves about it to get the prize. As it words, it says 100 swords, 100 with souls in 3 days. Then a note about 3 days. But he said, "You're a diamond, mate." He is trying to get to the port waters and they're burning out. He hisses with Jack, but he replied, "I keep the boy. Who got the payment? 1991 says to go. Ha 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 ha." And he didn't know about mention of Will Turner. He hasn't mentioned that, but he walks around with this about very notice, and it's around to make a payment. It was a good agreement about pirates, mateys, around the 1743 years. And it's kind of like everything about everything to think about for the reasoning that about Jack and Davy Jones about to be trade, about him being as a trade. But he was keep the boy 1990 souls, and he wonders about the sparrow, but he forgets. But he finds us in a man Dutch and the final those are the letters about being cruelty in the being. Yep. But who cares about the bloods and one of them with his hand? What is the ungood reason? But he holds he holds in hands with the tentacles. With this a bigger arm, but with this a bigger arm about the giant tentacles looks like about the octopus, and the squid and the kraken, and it's sucking with this arm with the hand. But he has about confirmation about 3 days. When the blast spot goes away, when the hand is very good, when the hand is very soul, and he felt shocky when he flees away for the Dutchman, and Will Turner is taken for the unwelcome them for the Dutchman's, but he was fell behind, and but he says with the Gibbs, the Pintail, Rigetti's, Marty, and Cartons, the Conspira with his the two rest of it, the crews, and then they have to go to the Tortuga. They have to have about same signing with the ships. With this about 90 men. With this about all the boards. We're going to the Tortuga until the night. When arrival by Indian trader just sailing to the seas for the night, Kelton Bellamy, those are about the captains for the lieutenants of fives, 4 of them. But he says he's sorry about the this plan, but he wasn't afraid about the East India Trading Company. What was it about? And the former to the taking about the Lord Carlos Beck, and he does matter. He was afraid of for this captains, but those are the caught about inspirations and inspections, no expectations, and that he says he's good of it, and he wasn't honestly he wasn't apologizing. He would have been unaccepted, but he was gonna be rolling the stuff. He was gonna done about very distracting from the outside of the windows on the cabin. But he's swinging with the dress like the ghost ways, like and about the mers everywhere. But he look around from the window in the night. He looks the window anytime they have definitions. Then I know whether they're just walking through the outsides, that where the dress came from the sales. That was a real agreement. The woman was just swinging around, just as involved. And they look to the side. They look to the signs. They're trying to break the glass with the glass the light. Trying to flame it to make up for drawings. And they haven't seen them sometimes. They look behind them just as draw they're behind. It just looks like about the first movie on the music on the like Interceptor. And this is a road of the science with the fire one's named Tortuga. And they just been arrived for the second time about the 2006. The lot of shooting and chasing, the fighting each other with this party. With the musical just is about very expressions, lots of them, very definitely a lot of those are about planning with the humanities, and the worships they have the most they have in the crew the Black Pearl just about for the expectation with expectation with Josh Me Gibbs. And when the old guy just signed in with the ship for the Black Sails and Seven Seas, Arnold marks next, and Jack Sparrow was searching with the compass with the finding their island. But for the crazy guy, they says that Mormon ran off from my dog. I given an ass rat to rip or dying. Perfect. Sign next. And those are the black guys was joining the Buccaneer and the Marauder and the Motley ones. Who goes there for about the 7 seas? It's not natural most of the everything for every time, and it's just it does and it doesn't matter what's the same thing about very interesting, but he never looked at us, never the style in us, and who wanted it about the one leg, but he says one the black guy, which is about the left leg. No idea, just during the fight once. Perfect. Next, and those are those are the last one. Once the excitement wasn't about for 7 seas, he looks like it about best seven and the best ships ever want to be the sails on the and the Buccaneers. Sometimes pirates do, depending on the Marauders and the Motley. Then the Motley looks about for the villains of a curse. Everything would goes there, but everything would goes there. But he says perfect. Next. And the last one I say is how you go is if I give us fourth, I give him fourth. They're walking. There's someone walked through the Gibbs, but he says and applied. What's your story? My story. My exactly what's the story since chapter behind. I chased a man across the 7 seas, in a pursuit cost me my crew, in my commission, in my whole life. Commodore was sick and tired of us, just as we applied Justice Madness. He lost his ship for the British Royal Navy's for the Port Royal for the last 3 years. It's been a long time once it seems what happened there for the last few days. When he tries to drink it with this for the bottle on it, and it could be confusable to say Commodore, and he's not listening. He was not gonna anymore. He was treated in the order would offer the Tripoli. All would have an enough of that hurricane. Norrington says for the Gibbs, but he didn't sail through it. He didn't make a sail through it for HMS Dalton. It was sunken by the hurricane. And it definitely was the depths. He's trying to sail through it. He made it with the crew or not. He made him position where he's going. Somewhere nice. He pushing, but he literally pushing the rolling to the table falling down, and tries to stop the music, the party, you say. So am I worthy to serve by the Captain Jack Sparrow. But he pulls a gun out and twitches it with the Jack does, and she was trying to kill you now. You're hired. Jack believes and ignoring his says you're hired. Sorry, lads. So I have a lad. Here's a good deal. Here's how to undeal with the stuff with this about the guns. Try to shoot at it with the light and say boom. But he starts the party, fighting, laughing, and tries to running around. And then he says it's time to go. And he's escaping. He is escaping from the party bar. They literally just run upstairs and hell at it, and this that was I said sort of about same thing about same reinforcements for the inside the bar. When Elizabeth was a Captain Bellamy's crew, just as mentioned. So sometimes, um, he tries to. She was fighting to protect him with this about the planning for the Tortuga pirates, and he tries to punch with them. Trying to punch and continues. Trying to shoot with the bottle. He slices it with the skirt shirts, and he's not. And they're not killing it. They're not killing each other, but he punches with his nose. He steals to drink it. He steals the bottle with his drink it, and he walks up upstairs, and tries to steal this. He tries to borrowing the hat, but he's saying, "Thanks, man." He pushed him falling down around. He pushed him falling, rolling around to the ground. But he opens the door and tries to grab him and stop him. And he puts a hat on with his head. He ordered him to say, "Carry on, cheer up." Boom, and they figure out he was a Tortuga Horner Pipes. And they says, "I believe you." They says, "Come on, man. Who wants some?" "I don't know from the band, and one by one. Come on, who first?" He gives the drink and smashes Norrington's head. Tries to bang on it to the ground, down to the ground. She replied to the pirate people to say that she once wanted to replace it to themselves. Cheer up for it again. Tried to kick him out for the bar. Tries to throw into the pig's pit. Tries to dirty. It just gets dirty. Nothing idea. Just walk through it. Just fight is over. And the mentioning of a Mercer, they came to Tortuga from the Port Royal. There was a ghostly just arriving for the ship, just fastened around. It was a Shocky. She was meeting for help. Some of them for a long time. It says James Norrington, and she let a little bit former crush a long time. And when the Flying Dutchman and the Davy Jones organs and just driving for the storms for the seven seas, just like the underworld with the rainstorms in the night like a darkness. Then the light from the music with the lightning thunderstorms and the roaring, the groaning just as nicely with the tentacles with the piano. The groaning looked like the making himself noise. The heaving workout for those in the ships for the sea turtles with the cannon. They tried to help him, and he's a bosun says about reply it. Here's the former says secure the last time about Mr. Turner. Who's a Turner's name? Will or Bootstrap? But he moves trying almost gonna fall down and say, "Step to it," and he's trying to kind of challenge him, tries to pull him his net. He's on his side and tried to share it himself, tried to share it. He's not gonna share it. He says, "Hey, let go aboard." He's gasping. He was his son. He has an idea. He let it go for no reason. But he tries to move around this mutiny, and fall apart to the ground. And he was waving to his feet, tries to grab him with his arms, tries to hold him, and he tries to kind of whip in his back with the skirts. He stopped him. He's given up no choice. He was taking the hole where he's now, and David Jones to reply it. He wasn't reason about his bootstrap sons as William Turner. He looked over with his sons. That is his Will's dad. That was a transformative farm for the last 3 years. But And that was a long time. That was a long, long time ago. That was about 13 years last. They have a much no idea. They no idea. They have a much the 1730s. Some ridiculous. Some his ridiculous. He welcomed to the boarding for about the Flying Dutchman. Those of the who had the some about 1738. He wasn't unreleasable. He was just saying it's a pirate. He's the seas. It was the eternity. He was the concernations. And my policy says the family affair, just like that. The Hans Seamers, um, the whipping scenes of them. The whipping scenes of the second ones is with the Will Turner his back with this blood back with this where the blood is with the scars, and he tries to try that the two bad guys tries to rip his apart with the skirts. His his father was whip slashing was what five lashing was lashing with his back the 5 times. It's harder to hurts really bad, and he ordered them to lash it the 5 times. But he grabs him and push him down to the stairs. He had it easy, boy, and he tries to jerk him off. But they say, well, he doesn't need to help. The bosun ordered by the bootstrap, he crossing there to the bones in the back. Whoever goes want. He didn't know to understand and wanted to have been a chance. Yes, he would reply to the bootstrap with his son's will. For aftermath, a long story with his Will the bootstrap, and walks into the deck for the Canada. Walks into the second deck with the first deck for the Canadas. It seems he goes stairs and it's just been about long stories, very longest stories about every time for the first ones, and for once in her first time, Wells knows there for about the Flying Dutchman. He goes to being about former captains, those are the two captains on the times. He may want to about the temporarily hears to the definitions, excitements, understatement, and quarter to 20th law, and he's one enough. And Will Turner says, and it's his father once confused. Father wasn't very must dreaming, but he says, "Well, I must get away." And but he looks with a drawing with the key, and a wyver with his and the cramp with the coral reef with the coral reef of the deck. But he, as he says to the old wavering for the ass of the old reeve man, the dead man's chest. It looks like the old man, but he says he know of. But he says, open the chest with the key, stab so hot. Open the chest to stab his key, but no captain. There is no captain, so the captain has his key. And Wells says, what is the key? Hinton. And but he says it 2 times. So what is the chest? Hinton. But the waiver says it 2 times. He closes his eyes so just as closely. So and then out, the family affair from Tortuga, and then from Tortuga and Davy Jones, and then out, just to be continued, just Thursday and Friday, just tomorrow Thursday and Friday is Movie Madness. Thank you very much for coming in, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to content subscriptions and to www.com.org. So overview references, Pirates of the Caribbean film series .gus. So tell us you know about in the last 10 years. So the Pirates of the Caribbean second movie is The Dead Man's Chest. So you can join us again. So for the last 10 years, it's December 9, 2006. So tell McJuggan Nuggets on last 10 years. The Witches is about the completely on the YouTube channels. and those are the included, and also there being a lot of those are the planning stuff at the very most in the moment. And the 10 years has the Psycho series as notes about the vlogs, announcements, and reviews, and the complete of Psycho series as about 2012 through 2016. So Majaga Nuggets is still just the last 10 years, and mostly half of 12 of those are 2012 through 2016. So Big Brother here, kid behind the Big Brother here, Juliet Riley, and Manning Corn, Jordy Stahlbarger, kid behind the camera, Bridget West, The Angry Grandpa Shows, Grandpa's Corner, Psycho Dad, Larry's Lounge, Joe Bump, Psycho Mom, Psycho Aunt, and Melissa, and 1 and 2, Psycho Uncle 1 through 3, and Jackie here is on YouTube, Uncle Charles here, and Crazy Boyfriend, Crazy in Love, who were joining on YouTube channel, Nana Giles, Ben Phillips, and Elliot Giles, just as pranks is funny, BF versus GF, Prank versus Prank, Derek Diesel Daily, Cuban Guy, The Cuban Guy Life, Next Booth, Life of Moko, Life of Boog, The Boog Show, and so which is about all you knows it about. Very planet stuff is Bo Squad, those are the Bo Squad, rest of it, Creed, don't forget, Ragging Dad, and those are the half of all YouTube subscriber is Alex Taderio and Forever Alexander here. So follow me and others on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google, if I find it, Twitch Licensing, Gaming Challenge, Juggy Stars on Elmo, New Jersey, Tom Alel, Cocker Story, Cocker Top, Play Store, and Hangouts. So I love you guys for your death. So I love you guys in about the Dead Man's Chest Part 2 to be the continue on the Dead Man's Chest. So ladies and gentlemen, so thank you so much for coming in, guys, and don't forget. So love you guys in the death. So don't forget, keep it rich, mateys. Have a great day.